Earlier this week, UK comic book legend Pat Mills launched an NFT version of his hit book Be Pure, Be Vigilant, Behave, which exposes much of the exploitation and corruption in the UK comic industrial complex. Now, fast forward a few days, and according to the comic book thought police and the Ministry of Truth's character assassins, he's flipped from an anti-establishment working class hero to a literal fascist faster than a post-World War I Italy, apparently.
That escalated quickly.
But how did this happen? Leave a like on the video, remember to subscribe, and we'll get into it.
One of my favorite people, Kami Mark.
Огонь на подавление! Враг сзади по левому флангу! Огонь! Враг! Они...
So Bleeding Cool, who are at best a sort of Daily Express light of the comic book industry, report that creator of 2000 AD Pat Mills launches NFT of Judge Dredd's secret history. So your first question might be, okay, so who is Pat Mills?
I'm Pat Mills. I'm the creator of 2000 AD comic.
So Pat Mills, the creator of 2000 AD and developer of Judge Dredd, is famed for creating satirical excoriations of capitalism, exploitation, and a general sticking it to the man attitude to life. He's often referred to as the godfather of British comics. Not because he left a horse's head in Alan Moore's bed, but because the man revolutionised the UK comic book scene. Without Pat Mills, there's no Dave Gibbons, no Alan Grant, no Alan or Grant, no Garth Ennis. Literally every comic book creator from the UK that you can think of is very much standing on the giant shoulders of Pat Mills, and perhaps that's why they're so keen to cut him down. Creator of 2000 AD, Pat Mills launches NFT of Judge Dredd's secret history. So your second question then might be, what are NFTs? They're a big pile of pointless, climate-destroying shite, that's it, says John Repion, a UK creator whose biggest comic book credit is marrying Alan Moore's daughter. The answer to that question is slightly more difficult to sum up succinctly than that, especially in the realms of comic books, but it's kind of like if you can imagine like a unique PDF version of a digital comic that can't be copied but it can be sold. Like, it's a potential answer to the problems of digital piracy. It's a way for digital artists to be able to sell their original work and resell it in a collector's market. It's a step towards decentralization and away from the mega corporate monoliths of Amazon and Apple, who can just turn off access to your digitally purchased content should its creator speak uncomfortable truths to power or express ideas outside of what the man deems acceptable. I don't pretend to be an expert on the subject, but what I do know is that when a big company like DC steps in to prohibit its own artists from publishing NFTs of the original artwork that the creators own, that means the establishment is scared, and I love seeing the establishment scared. When the dollar of those on high is at risk, then Big Brother dispatches the Ministry of Truth. The work for hire artists and the corrupt comic media must protect the industry in its current form or risk losing access to it, whether that's regular work for cat food wages or free hats and early access in exchange for positive media coverage. It's all part of the same machine. Push the party line or face the consequences. I mean, Joe Glass, who last week threatened to burn down a feminist convention, had this to say: so disappointed to see colleagues and contemporaries doing this whole NFT thing. It's disgusting. Immediate unfollow from me if I see it from anyone. Basically, if I see you doing this thing that I don't like, I will unfollow you, like his approval means something to you. Get the fuck over yourself, bro. 2000 AD Comics chipped in with this admittedly witty comment saying, go in for NFTs. Now, we make comics about things that are horridly dystopian, but we actively try to avoid participating in them. Mildly funny. Couple of quick reasons as to why it's pointless to send us your NFT press releases. 1. We are never gonna post them. 2. It really doesn't put you in a good light. Basically, if you make NFTs, we'll blockade you from the industry. These are all tweets from March, April, when the NFT craze first kicked off. These were warning shots. You will be gatekept. So, creator of 2000 AD, Pat Mills launches NFT of Judge Dredd's secret history. This guy, a living legend in the UK, bravely stands up and volunteers to test the waters, and now he's being branded a fascist for it. This is yet another great example of how cancel culture works, and I'm going to try and walk you through it step by step. So the first wave is the concern trolls. The concern trolls are a very specific breed of troll. They're a person who, under the guise of concern, makes negative, condescending or rude statements to another. What's your thoughts on the environmental impact of the blockchain, Pat Mills? Surprised to see you enter in that sphere. I'm sure you'll be aware of the many concerns people have. Or, I've loved your work for years and I want you to be able to profit off it. I just think that NFTs are a particularly odious and illogical way to do it. The concern trolls come in and they're all like, oh hey buddy, like I'm totally on your side, I just have a couple of little issues. And in this case they're using climate change and the environment as their criticism.
How dare you!
The people at the Millsverse respond with a well thought out post on their website addressing all the issues raised by the concern trolls, which was a complete and utter waste of time as none of the critics actually bothered to read it. You haven't read the explanation, have you? It's disturbing that you don't approach this with the democratic approach you use elsewhere. And there's some amazing democracy in NFTs which you clearly don't even know about. I have read it. This was my reply, says this dude. Also, please watch this if you've not seen it already. The same video that is, you may remember, in the original Millsverse post that he's claiming to have read. Whatever, the concern trolls were never going to read it. Their role isn't to change your mind, it's quite the opposite. Their seeming politeness and fake allyship is bait. They're trying to bait you into either doubling down or apologizing, both of which count as victories for them. I'm so disappointed to see you're encouraging a pitchfork mob mentality. Wrong target. Do save your incredible skills for the real enemy, the Tories. This guy that Pat Mills is tweeting at, the watch this video you already shared guy, is Darren Cullen, a well-known graffiti artist in the UK. I checked into him a bit. His work is very anti-capitalist, anti-corporations, which I dig, and it's graffiti, which is by definition badass because, you know, it's graffiti, it's like a fuck you kind of protest art form. What I do think is worth encouraging is friendly and open-minded debate. What I abhor is I hate NFTs and you mustn't do them and I'll never buy your books again if you don't obey me. Fans understandably withdraw support from creators who do things they regard as antithetical to what they thought the artist stood for. If I made a commercial advert, for example, my audience feeling disillusioned at that and no longer supporting me is not a demand that I obey them. A better example would be, what if I sold out to the Tory government and became the only graffiti artist approved by the British government and was chosen as the official street artist for the international mega corporate spectacle and nationalism generator, the London 2012 Olympic Games? You know, give them bread and circuses and they'll never revolt. I thought you, of all people, would value open debate rather than finger-wagging authoritarianism. Pat Mills, shut up. These people don't want an open debate. What they want is to destroy people, and the more high profile, the better.
Let the past die. Kill it, if you have to.
Picturing the Pat Mills that wrote Third World War kicking the Pat Mills that's selling NFTs in the balls. Well, that's sad. Didn't have Pat Mills down as someone who would go over to the side of pure evil, but there you go. What a reputation for, if not pissing all over. Even Pat Mills is doing NFTs. I just don't get it. It's a scam, nothing else. Very sad to see your involvement. More sad about Spacewalk being in NFTs, and also not reading any advice from the fans that NFTs are a pyramid scheme. Another one who didn't read the goddamn post reply, pay attention, comrade, it's not Spacewalk and NFTs, it's be pure, be vigilant, behave. You see, once Pat Mills had dealt with the initial rejections about the energy costs and the ethical concerns raised, these people just switched to ad hominem attacks. You know, attacking the person. This fallacy occurs when instead of addressing someone's argument or position, you irrelevantly attack the person or some aspect of the person who is making the argument. This is an entire group of society who are unable to engage in meaningful debate beyond one objection. Their surface level social media bubble brainwashing only presents them with one side of any argument, and they're totally unprepared and ill-equipped for any kind of logical counter to their own personal reality. You see, the way the internet works means that it doesn't matter if they can defeat your well thought out logical position. What matters is the emotional reaction of the masses. All they have to do is poison your reputation. Having to bust this one out again for Pat Mills now. It's only a matter of time before every artist over the age of 50 is tricked into this shit. It's the equivalent of your dad falling for all those emails telling him he's won 10 grand. Christ. NFTs are like a hero disappointment machine. At best, they've been hoodwinked, but at this stage, they should just know better. It's weird how quickly the progressive comic book crowd resorts to unironically using ageism as a weapon to attack a creator. Genuinely worried it's a Stan Lee situation where there's some kind of elder abuse going on and he's just signing whatever contract they put in front of him. I hope he's just being a fucking idiot, but who knows? Oh, Pat Mills is just a doddery old man who doesn't know better. He's ancient, he's over 50, he's from a different, less enlightened time, unlike us, the morally superior, liberal elite white saviors of the world who love nothing more than joining the parade and climbing aboard the cancel train, the accountability train, and virtue signal to our bubbles how much more gooder we are than everyone else, and that everyone else should follow our lead and obey us. Do what we say, or we'll use weaponized mass hysteria and digital peer pressure to blacklist you and gatekeep you from our definitely not toxic corporate comic book industry. I just blocked Pat Mills on here, and anyone who cares about art should do likewise, says John McCrae, another UK creator best known for his work on Herogasm, a limited series spun off from The Boys. Anyone who cares about art should do the same. That's a wide fucking net, mate. Even Hitler liked art. You're basically saying everyone on earth should block this man. This guy who you loved because he always spoke truth to power and would time and time again be proved right in his decisions. You now disagree with that guy, and do you know why? Because you are the power now. Maybe it's you who are wrong. Nah, it can't be. It must be fascism. I did get rather fed up of the endless tanky nonsense about Ukraine. Oh, I have not heard about that. Oh well, he's a bit of a fascist too. Super. Okay, so it just happened right there. Did you see it? He's a fascist now, according to John McCrae. Now, that's out there in the wild for anyone to quote and to use in a hit piece article against Pat Mills that praises this dude for bravely making up lies to oppress the speech of a renegade anti-establishment comic creator. How do these people not see that they are the man now? And more to the point, back to this exchange between Keith Saturnalia Day and John McCrae. Keith Winterfest calls Pat Mills a tanky. A tanky is an authoritarian communist, often class reductionist, like to LARP as a revolutionary and adamantly plays defense for the USSR, the CCP, and North Korea. Make sure you back The Adventures of Kim Il-sung and West Korea. Often Marxist-Leninist. Not all MLs though. However, sometimes outright Stalinists often call others radlibs if they disagree about existing socialism. A communist class reductionist who likes to LARP as a revolutionary, that's exactly the type of thing that the radlibs drop in my YouTube comment section. Remember to leave a comment for the algorithm or whatever. So Keith bloody Boxing Day Eve calls Pat Mills a tanky, and then John McCrae decides that means he's a fascist, despite those two words being very much not the same thing. Looked it up, blur, says Erica Henderson, a female comic creator with a blue check mark and a couple of Eisner Awards. And I didn't even get to the fast shit you mentioned here. There is no fast shit here. Oh my god, how did these people function? Do they not understand the power of the words that they're using? You can't just go around fash-washing people that you disagree with. That's a form of bigoteering. Fascism doesn't mean nationalist, totalitarian, or racist. It's a very specific class-based structure of a society where private industry is controlled by the state through government contracts and subsidies. You know, like the comic industrial complexes. I always find it kind of amusing that the fascist equivalent of the hammer and sickle is literally a bundle of sticks.
Individually we are weak, like a single quid, but as a bundle we form a mighty
I'm just saying that it's funny that fascism and the F-slur are both derived from the same Latin word. There's something in that. Think about it. Until next time, and fuck off.